Good morning. It's 10:30. I'm so super punctual. I'm really hoping that the Wi-Fi is going to behave because earlier on this morning I was doing some nice relaxing yoga and the Wi-Fi decided to be a little bit intermittent. So every now and again the YouTube video that I was following would just freeze with this lady in the pose that I was trying to copy, and then we'd just get like the word loading in the middle and we'd both be, how long have I got to hold this? So, what should have been a really relaxing, chilled out, bit of time to myself turned out to be just cut short because it was massively frustrating and annoying. So hopefully the Wi-Fi is good and we can get through this chat. I know I've got something in my eye. How is everyone feeling? I hope you're good. I hope you're enjoying the fact that we can look out on blue sky. It's massively bright in here. I've got the blind closed. I've got really annoying hair. So today we're talking Crossroads. Lindsay, hi. Give me a wave. Say hello. Let's wave back to you. Crossroads. So by crossroads, I mean obviously a point in your life where you've kind of got two potential routes that you can take, and they actually might not be obvious. It might be really clear that you're at a crossroads and you have got very two defined routes to go down, but there's another type as well. There's crossroads that sort of present themselves because of actions that you take or something that you do, or just because of how you feel. And I think at the moment we're all getting quite reflective. We've changed our lives over the last month just unrecognisably, and people they're really reassessing what their priorities are. And I think, having to have this enforced time at home can either make us think, yeah, I love it, or make you think, no, definitely can't wait to get out and I'm kind of climbing the walls to get back to normal. But crossroads are something which can cause massive stress for people because indecision and not knowing which route to take, trying to almost forecast the future. So if I take that one, then what will that mean? If I take that road and I make those decisions, then how will that feel? And the truth is that none of us are future tellers. Is that the word? That's not the word. Fortune tellers. None of us are fortune tellers. But, we can get a sense of how one might feel compared to another one. So today I just want to talk to you a little bit more about how we can behave, how we can react, and the importance actually of crossroads. And when you reach them, how you approach it, how you deal with it can actually shape a whole load of different subsequent actions in your life. Good morning, Jackie. Thank you very much for joining and saying hi. I hope you're good, enjoying the sunshine this morning. So I guess it depends on how you arrived at these crossroads, because there are times when crossroads are literally just forced upon you. So you're presented with a situation where you have two routes to take, and you kind of can't do anything about the fact that you are at those crossroads. So it could be work related, that actually something has changed and you're offered either that option or that option. You are there because of external factors. But it could be that actually you realise through having your eyes open to an alternative perhaps to what you're doing at the moment, that there are always decisions to make. So there is potentially lots and lots of crossroads. Now some of them are massive, great big like motorway intersections, but some of them are just little forks in the road. But there's still decisions that we take to navigate this amazing journey which is our life. And I'm a big believer that actually the way that you react to that situation is going to shape the rest of how you deal with it. And this is particularly relevant when a situation is presented to you. So it's not within your control and it's something which is happening to us. And the happening to us is an interesting phrase because there's lots of levels of energy and ways that we all operate. And we all know people who will go through their lives believing that life is happening to them. So they will they will constantly retell stories of, oh, this had happened to me, and then this course of events happened, and they tend to be quite negative because they feel like they're a victim to the events that have happened. Now, taking that view, almost in some ways it relinquishes, that's not an easy word to say, relinquishes the responsibility. It passes that to an external factor somewhere. So somebody that says, well, the work has decided that I'm now doing this job and I'm not happy about it because I don't like this and this about that element. But actually taking a view that if you allow these things to happen for a reason and that there is something behind these things, then actually it can switch you to, rather than life happening to you, that it's actually happening alongside you, it's happening with you, and you become less of a victim, and you stop fighting all these things that are happening with you and alongside you, and you can embrace it a little bit more. And rather than being, oh, this is really negative and this has happened, then this happened, and you can actually go, oh, I've been offered this opportunity. And those people that see those opportunities as being exactly that are so much more positive. They're so much easier to be around, they're easier to be with, they see the positives in things rather than that victim mentality. So when you're approaching anything that looks like a crossroads or a fork in the road, then how you react initially and how you take that on is going to shape those next few steps. So just think about, actually, did I decide on this? Did I create this situation? Is this happening because of something else that I've done or said or wished for? And is there a course of events that's now building up to this? So the more positive you can be and the more positive you can remain throughout will mean that you're not a victim, that you can actually embrace it. And as soon as you become that more positive, you're taking responsibility. And there is a big school of thought that says if you take 100% responsibility for everything, absolutely everything that happens in your world, then you have the power. It all sits with you, and others then don't have the power to influence you and to make you feel negative, to have that negative impact on your life. That actually it's up to you whether they do, and it's up to you whether they don't as well. And having that power gives you back those choices, and it allows you to make your choices from your own perspective. So rather than saying, oh, I have to this or I have to that, and I can't do this at the moment there's all this, oh, I can't this and I can't the other and I can't. Well, make some choices around the things that you can do and give yourself that power back in the areas that you can. Now, the power that we have at the moment is around our inner self, so it's around how we feel, it's how we react to these things. There's a great book by David Schwartz who talks about Mr. Triumph and Mr. Defeat, and I love this scenario because I love the whole imagery of there being two little armies that go on inside us, and there's Mr. Triumph who or it might be a Mrs. for you, that he's like the leader of the positive army, and then you've got Mr. Defeat who's really kind of downhearted, and I can almost visually picture what they look like. And each one of those has a massive battalion of troops that they'll call upon as soon as you kind of wake one of them up. So that Mr. Defeat, as soon as you wake him up, he'll start to look for all sorts of negatives. So it's that scenario around, how was your day? What's going on in your life? Oh, it was awful, and this happened, and this happened, and I got this, and then all these people start working on presenting you with all these negative thoughts, and it just kind of brings you down. Whereas Mr. Triumph is totally the opposite. It's how was your day? Well, yeah, I got stuck in traffic, or I was delayed doing that piece of work because of this, but actually what that meant was this happened, and then I had this great opportunity, and I managed to get that done and this done, and all of a sudden the mood is much more lifted. It's in a different kind of sphere, so it feels totally different. Monica, yeah, absolutely. I'll drop the full name and the details of the book in there. Absolutely a good read. It's old actually. It's interesting because it uses very quite sort of gender specific stereotypes from it's written sort of for men, but it works. It still works. The principles, I think it's about 50 years ago it was written, but yeah, absolutely recommend it. I'll drop it in the link. So you're taking that concept and bringing it back to the crossroads, that actually success will breed success in the same way that negativity can breed negativity. So if you're at that point where you're perhaps trying to make a decision and you're trying to do that forecasting. Now, forecasting is an impossible thing. I know, I tried to do it in previous jobs and it becomes quite scientific, and the more you kind of try and guess and forecast certain things, the harder it becomes and the more wrapped up you get. But actually there's a way that you can forecast by visualising. But actually, if you visualise on a positive as opposed to on the Mr. Negative side, then you're going to be able to play forward some of those scenarios and try and put yourself in that position. So you're not saying, oh, well, that'll happen, and then that'll happen. It's not to that level of detail. But if you try and visualise and therefore forecast the positive, then you're going to take actions which take you towards that. If you try and forecast and you think about your scenarios in the negative, yeah, funnily enough, you're going to take actions and see things happening that take you towards that as well. So that whole Mr. Defeat, the negative thing, just needs to be left to one side. And the visualisation around how one scenario might play out versus another needs to remain in the positive. So you need to try and train yourself to think in that way. I need to cough, really, really big cough, sorry. and I think the more you train yourself, the more that actually you see. So it's that sort of constant spiral. Now, some of the phrases that I use are things like, yes, I can do this, and yes, I've done it before, therefore I can do it again, and look at all the good you've done, and all these positive ways of talking to yourself breeds that success. It breeds that positive mental position for you and then that future road. So allowing yourself to actually believe that believing big is possible, that believing that massive great big goal that you thought was just untouchable, allowing yourself to have fun with that and believe that can let you then build the smaller steps to getting that, and it kicks into everyday life then. So the negative things that happen in your day almost just become incidental, they're irrelevant, because actually all the good stuff that's going on in your life, all the stuff you enjoy doing, what's exciting, what's kind of firing you up, that's all going to breed a feeling of happiness. And when you're happy and when you're energetic, you're going to take more positive action and you're going to lead yourself quite naturally down the path which is right for you. Now, anyone presented with a great big crossroads in their life can get massively stressed about it, and we can all get ourselves in that position of, I want to do this, but I also want to do this, and what if I do that, and all these what if scenarios, and that can be really consuming. And I would consider myself someone who takes action relatively quickly, but equally at the times when I've been presented in a situation where I didn't know whether to do this or this, even just in that scenario for an hour really creates anxiety for me, and I hate it. I would rather just make a decision really quickly and live with it rather than spend a long time dwelling and considering. But that's me. I know other people in my life that like to really take their time, and they're quite methodical about their decision making, even on a pretty small scale. So we're talking like, what are you going to eat on a menu, and taking a long time to decide those things. And there's no right or wrong in this, by the way. I'm not saying one method is better than the other. But what I find is that once I've got myself to the point where I've made the decision, then working towards whatever the thing is that I've decided is then where I can channel my energy. Whereas those that stay in that indecisive position for any length of time, they're kind of getting consumed, and they're, we've only got a finite amount of energy, of brain time, because we've all got a load of stuff going on, and if you expend that during the decision making process, then you've expended it. You're not going to get that back. Whereas if you go, right, I'm going to go with this, and I know I'm responsible for that, and I'm going to stay positive about that decision, and now I'm going to work towards doing that and that towards it. It sort of allows you to move from that stuck state just that little bit quicker, and action will lead to another action and another action and another action. And actually stress can be caused by inaction, because you mull these things over and over and over and over, and lo and behold, you take action on something and it's gone away. You take action on something else, it's gone away. I used to find this all the time with in previous roles where perhaps I'd got a horrible meeting that I was having to prepare for, and I was dreading it, and it was, oh, I just can't, or it was a conversation I needed to have and I don't want to do it, and actually just picking the phone up, getting on with it, doing it first thing in my day, and then it's done. So action will definitely lead you forward much, much faster, and it will relieve that stress. So let's recap what we've covered today. So crossroads. Often you can find yourself in at a point of crossroads, or the point where a decision needs to be made, either through something that you've created yourself or some external factor. And that it doesn't matter whether it is internal or external. You still have a choice to make around whether or not you embrace it and work with it, or whether you become a victim and feel that you're put upon or the world happens to me. So make those choices really early on. And the choice that you should always take is I can do something about this. I can see this as opportunity. This is going to offer me this. This is going to offer me this. And look for those things, because looking for them enforces that thought of, yes, I can do this. Yes, I've got this. Yes, I've got this. So try and stay positive throughout without allowing yourself to fall into being a victim. Take 100% responsibility, and then you take your power back. It's yours. You can do with it what you want. Recruit Mr. Triumph, not Mr. Defeat. So Mr. Triumph and his army of people who are going to give you those positive thoughts, those positive actions, are going to work really hard for you as long as you constantly recruit them. Train yourself to do that every day, all day long. For those that were on at the beginning, I told you about my dreadful yoga experience this morning. It should have been nice and relaxing and really chilled out and cool. And actually the Wi-Fi just kept freezing. So I'd get halfway into a pose and then I would just be stuck there because the Wi-Fi went down. Now, I'm not going to mention that again, other than sharing this with you, because I want to leave it there. That's it, it's done. It was annoying, and there we go. But I could dwell on that all day long, the fact that the time I had was mine and it was ruined by technology. But actually, it's fine, it's done. I'm going to leave it there and move forward, not keep it with me all day, not hold on to that emotion. So training yourself, even on a very small level, is a great place to start to move yourself into that positive. Only look for the positives, and don't allow yourself to fall into that trap of the world is happening to me. It's not. You can control that. And then believe big. So have those big thoughts. Have those, yes, I can visualise that. And if I take that road, then that's where it's going to take me. And as soon as you have those bigger thoughts, then you're going to create smaller steps which are going to get you there. And it's going to feel good making that as well. My advice is don't dwell on your decisions. Don't overthink them. Take the action. Make some moves. And if you get it wrong, what's the worst that's going to happen? Then you can backtrack. You can make another decision further along. If you don't try, you'll never know. So before I go and leave you to the rest of your Thursday, thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching. I just want to remind you that I yesterday opened and launched the Employed to Empowered programme, which we're going to do. We're going to start on the 1st of May. It's going to be in here, so watching this, you're already in the space you need to be. But I'm going to be going live for 3 days in a row at 11 o'clock, starting on the 1st of May. So 1st of May is a Friday, and I will do Friday, Saturday and the Sunday. And each day we are going to cover a different topic, which is all around that journey of taking yourself from a place where you're in employment or you are working for somebody else, and how to get yourself into the space where you're ready to make a change, and how, most importantly, to get yourself into that space where you feel empowered. Because it's very easy as an employee to feel as though power has been taken away from you, that decisions are made on your behalf, and very relevant to what I've talked to you about today. As soon as that power is taken away from you, it can feel very quickly like the world is happening to you, that other people decide on what you do with your day, other people structure your time for you, and that can be frustrating. So I want you to have some tools and techniques that you can use to allow yourself to feel empowered regardless of the position you're in. Now for me, that meant taking my life control back, regaining my freedom, and actually working for myself. So for those of you that are nearing that position and you're perhaps at that crossroads, you're looking to make that decision imminently, or possibly the decision has been made for you, perhaps that your employment arrangements are changing because of the current time, then you might be looking at what options you've got. So this is a great time to start just looking at how empowerment and how growing your confidence around your skill set, and the fact that you've got massive amounts of skills already that you can use in something else, is really, really powerful for you. And those 3 days are going to dive really deeply into that. There's a couple of tasks to do. I've got some bonuses to tell you about and a couple of giveaways during that as well. So there is a registration link in the group. If you're going to join the registration link, just make sure you're going to get the reminders. Already part of this group, so this is where they'll occur, but you'll get the reminders when we go live as well. So it'd be great to see you there. The more people live, the better, because we can get some interaction, we can get some questions, and I'll answer them where we are when we're on the live as well. But yeah, other than that, I will see you later on this week. I've got pretty much a live every day for you between now and then. Yeah, I hope you have a fabulous Thursday. Enjoy your day. Try and get a little bit of fresh air and a little bit of sunshine. And I will see you soon. See you later. Bye.